Happy Thanksgiving. I was about to say Happy Thanksgiving. Oh my God. I didn't know they got hairy. 7 to 10 inches, wow. And I don't really want to eat spotted dick all week. Well, Cedar Point's been great, but sadly, the end is here. We need to get out. And there's a storm coming down this way today. So I need to get packed up so we can get on the road so we can drive right through it. That's basically what's gonna happen. We're gonna drive right through it. It's supposed to be really windy, lots of rain. So I'm gonna get packed up so we can go do that. Filling up water. Gotta fill up that jug too. So after filling up our tanks for about 20 minutes, we got here and realized that we have water. Didn't know that. Wish I'd known that. It got a little dicey at points during the drive. The wind wasn't nearly as bad as it was getting to Emporia, but the rain got pretty bad at some points. Luckily we made it. The weather's great now, of course, while we're not driving or, filling up tanks. Such a nice day today. Put the awning out, just sitting here in the shade. Went for a run a little while ago. Made myself some cheese and crackers. Beans is sitting out here with me. He's such a good boy. So yeah, we're just enjoying the day. Can't complain. Let's head up to the bathrooms and see what we're dealing with. I didn't know they got hairy. 7 to 10 inches, wow. Not your average woodpecker. All right, let's review this bathroom. You got sinks with automatic water. No soap. Automatic dryers. Come to the toilets. Definitely smells like toilets in here. They're decently clean. There's enough toilet paper. Again, automatic. Over to this side. Oh, so I guess it's BYOS, like bring your own soap. Stall number 1, automatic, and there's not a whole lot of room in here. Also, there's no temperature control. It's the second campground in a row where there's no temperature control. Do they just assume everyone likes a shower at the same temperature? Overall, I give this 3.5. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. Today I'm going to do something super traditional, super easy. Corned beef. And I'm probably going to cheat a little bit, but I'm going to make potatoes. I don't know if I'm going to make mashed potatoes or just boiled potatoes, but basically what we're going to do is we're going to put this in there, turn it on, and let it go, and then chop those potatoes up and put them in when this is done. Alright, so let's cut this open. There should be a little packet, but there's not. Okay. Slap that in there. Now I'll add the water. We're just gonna cover most of it minus the fat cap. So let's put the lid on and fire this bad boy up. Alright. Pressure cook. I do this for 50 minutes. So while the corned beef does its thing, I decided I'm gonna make some spotted dick. And to me, that is just Irish soda bread with raisins in it. But I was just thinking this through, and I'm just one person, and I don't really want to eat spotted dick all week. Insert whatever joke you like there. So what I'm going to attempt to do is do half just regular soda bread that I can make sandwiches with, because I'm going to make Reubens with this corned beef once it's done, because that's the only reason I ever make corned beef is to make Reubens. Yeah, I don't really love corned beef by itself. I don't really love potatoes. I'm 50% Irish, but my taste buds are not. They're really not. So yeah, that's the whole reason I make corned beef, is to make Reubens. So for our ingredients, we have flour, some sugar, some buttermilk, salt, butter, egg, and baking soda. First, I need some buttermilk to make this soda bread, but I didn't feel like buying buttermilk, so I'm going to make my own. So I'm going to take 2 tablespoons of vinegar. To that, we're going to add enough milk to get 1 3/4 cups. All right, and then we let that sit there for 10 minutes. All right, so while that buttermilk does its thing, or while that milk becomes buttermilk, we'll measure out our 4 cups of flour. Barely enough. To that, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of sugar. So it called for 2 teaspoons of kosher salt, and this is regular salt. So I'm going to do 1 teaspoon, and this is a 1/2 teaspoon. So 1, 2 halves equals a whole, and then 1 teaspoon of baking soda. So 1/2, 2 halves. And we'll mix our wet into our dry. Okay, so this should be buttermilk now. So I'm going to add that in. By the way, I have my oven preheating to 400. And this is going to be janky for a few reasons, and you'll see one of them in a second, but the main reason is my oven kind of sucks. Alright, so first of all, let me add 2 tablespoons of melted butter and an egg. So the oven in this really sucks, and I hope there's like a different configuration you can do. But the way it is it's like the reverse of a broiler, in that the heat comes from one central place and it's literally right below the rack. And there's probably enough room for like a sheet of brownies or something to go in the top rack where it would be further away from that direct flame, but the loaf pan that I'm going to use for this is too tall. So I'm going to try something like a buffer. Maybe it'll work. I'll show you that when we get there, but I need to switch utensils. So like I said at the beginning, I'm going to try and make this into 2 separate loaves, but I'm going to cook it in the same pan. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure out half, put half a cup of raisins into half, and then we're going to attempt to put this in a loaf pan. Okay, so this dough weighs 1088, so 544 would be half. That even. Now, I really don't feel like having to wash my hands again. Bean, can you put some raisins in this for me? No? Yeah, I guess I'll do it myself. Alright, sure, that was half a cup. So I'm going to just plop this in this half of the loaf pan. Plop this in the other half. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in underneath the loaf pan as hopefully somewhat of a buffer. Hopefully that'll prevent scorching the bottom. All right, let's see how we did. So I cooked for 50 minutes and then I let it sit there for 10, and then I just released the pressure. All right, I have an idea. So I was in the middle of dicing these potatoes. I'll continue doing that, and then I'll throw them into the pot and let them all cook for 10 more minutes. I think that'll be perfect. So I'm going to add the potatoes to the corned beef. Okay. So pressure cook. All right, we'll let that go. Hopefully everything will be done in 10 minutes. All right, second moment of truth. Potatoes are for sure done. The meat feels tender. I didn't want it to be falling apart because I want it to slice. Oh yeah, that's actually perfect. And I'm not just saying that for YouTube. So I have strained potatoes in the perfect vessel for making mashed potatoes. Link in the description below. So I'm gonna add some butter. Start to mash that in. I want that butter to melt before I add anything else. By the way, this would be frowned upon, this whole meal actually. Oh, the corned beef's okay. I didn't do anything wrong with that except not add cabbage to it. But the idea of having mashed potatoes, especially with butter, milk, and sour cream. Not exactly allowed in the household I grew up in. Alright, so that was a splash of milk. Let's do a spoon of sour cream. Mix that in. And I'm not going to add any salt because that water was very salty that we cooked them in. Alright, so final product. Corned beef, mashed potatoes, and some vegetables that I took out of the freezer and microwaved for 2 minutes. So, try the mashed potatoes first. I usually don't make mashed potatoes. I usually don't care for mashed potatoes. I don't really care for potatoes unless they're tater tots. But these are good. The corned beef water that they cooked in, it's a nice touch. I like that. All right, now, moment of truth, corned beef. So it didn't really slice very well. I blame myself for that, not the corned beef, but it kind of crumbled some parts. Did some mustard. Yeah. It's corned beef. I can't complain. That's pretty good. Good texture. Not overcooked, not blubbery like it sometimes can be. It's perfect. Alright, I'm gonna devour this. And then we'll try the spotted dick. Let's check our soda bread. Oh, actually looks pretty good. We'll let that cool off a little bit and slice into it. All right. Got our freshly baked, freshly sliced spotted dick here. The bottom actually turned out okay. It didn't get scorched. So I think that double cooking dish method really worked. All right, let's give this a taste. Lost a Reuben. I could use honey. I don't have any. But that's really good. Let's try the bottom. The bottom's a little over, but overall, pretty good. Beans and I are on the trail that's right behind our site. Having a field day. Doesn't even care about the ducks. Come on! I think this is where the trail starts. Come on, let's go back in the water. thought we could just hop right in. Maybe he's over it. Cool. Apparently this trail is 2 miles long. It's probably only like a quarter mile to our campsite. So I guess it goes pretty decent way the other way. Might have to explore that at some point. All right, I think that's enough excellence for one episode. Until next time, stay excellent.